Hi everyone, welcome to IST 495. I am Professor Lane and I'm going to be your supervisor for the internship here at Penn State. And so chances are you've clicked on our very first link here, which houses this video. So thank you for doing that. I want to call your attention to the syllabus, so please go ahead and check that out. There is typical course information, internship related information. What I want to call your attention to are the schedules. Okay, this is a 15-week term, and you are expected every week to turn in a log. Okay, so just please be mindful of that. If these are submitted late, they are going to lose points. All right, so it can be the difference between an A and a B and a B and a C. So please make sure that you turn these in at the end of the week. You should be creating notes for yourself as you are going through. That would be the best approach to do, is to daily write down what you're doing so that it's not a big chore for you to submit these at the end of the week. I do want some details in here, so just being really sparse is not going to cut it, so make sure that you do give some details. Why do I want details? Well, the details are going to help you when you get to the end and you need to write your final report. All right, so these details are not for me, but they are for you so that you know what you've done and that you can write about it when you get to the end. Okay, so you should be done at around 12 weeks, but if you have additional weekly logs, I have them in here for you. All right, so I mentioned that in here you have your weekly logs. You're also going to be required to interview two individuals, professionals at your site. All right, so each report should have their role and their questions as well as their responses, and you're going to give a personal reflection for that. All right, so we can look at the timeline to see when they're due. When you hit 120 hours, you will give your internship supervisor the mid-evaluation. They will complete that and they will mail that directly to me. It has to be received from their email directly to my Penn State email, and the same goes through for the final eval. Once you've completed your 240 hours, then you turn in your internship reflection report. I also have a KSA checklist. This is a knowledge, skills, and abilities checklist. All right, and so this is something that's introduced week 1, and you kind of monitor that throughout the term, and at the end of the session, you will have your supervisor just sign off that that they have completed and they've looked at it. And you don't have to complete all the skills and the abilities, but it's just one of those things that we want to be aware of what the expectations are. Okay, so missing any of these pieces is not satisfactory. All right, so you need to put in all of your module deliverables. You need to submit all of your logs. That will total 240 hours. I will have received the mid-evaluation and the final evaluation. That must come within a week of earning those hours, and that is why it is so important for you to complete these weekly logs, because I need to know how far along you are. All right, so that's important. Remember, there are 2 interviews and then the signed KSA checklist. You also have the reflection report. Okay, so this is super, super important. All right, you can't pass the internship without completing all the course assignment requirements. And I know that might sound crazy, right? But it is a course, and you are getting credit for this. And so there's documentation of that. So just make sure that you are aware of that. Please go ahead and review the remainder of the syllabus, which has the university policies. So here I go through and I talk about, again, all of the guidelines and the requirements. All right, so I have these all spelled out for you. All right, again here, just as I went through them on the syllabus. I want to give you some information about deferred grades. Now, I don't think this is going to be that much of an issue because we have lowered the number of hours. The hours used to be 300, they are now 240. So earning the 240 hours within 15 weeks should be much more doable than it has for students in the past. However, if you are not able to complete the hours as well as not get all of the requirements that are needed, the interviews, the KSA, the evals, your report within the time frame of this course, then when it comes time for me to enter in a grade and you haven't met all of those requirements, then I have to put in a deferred grade, right? So this just simply goes through and explains what that process is and how much time that you have. Typically, if it's 10 weeks, right? But if you are graduating, then the timeline is much, much shorter. So just be aware of that. I'd like to get some information from you, so I've created a Google questionnaire. It's a form, so if you could go ahead and fill that out for me. And then I'd like you to introduce yourself to your fellow interns across the Philadelphia area, or actually not necessarily, because some folks have online internships. So introduce yourself and we'll get an idea of where everyone is interning. If you have any questions, I do have a discussion board for office hours. You could post there, but if you have a question, you can directly just send it to me right through the Canvas inbox. That is the best week. All right, so I mentioned to you, we break this down in terms of weeks, all right? And so you get to see that I just broke down each module for a week. So in the first week, I'd like you to complete every week you're going to be completing your log details. So I created a placeholder for that. You will notice that I don't have due dates, right? So why do I not have due dates? Well, everyone starts at a different time. Some students might be delayed, all right? So, and I will know that by the questionnaire. Some have, are starting right on time. So this will accommodate for that. Everyone starts at their own first week, right? So this is not going to have a date assigned to it. So it can't be late. The only way that it's late is that if your dates that you report do not align with the time that you've actually submitted it. All right, so that is how I can determine if something is late. This first week, I want you to go ahead and print out this KSA checklist, and you can share that with your supervisor, and then you can, over time, revisit this checklist, all right? I can go ahead and just open that in the next page. But let's go ahead and take a look at the log details. I have a template for you, all right? So you simply use this template, replace this information here with the week number, your name, your site name. All of this information should be the same every week, right? But then the day of the week and the dates and how much you have worked, you're going to be recording that. And then I want to have some details down below, all right? So they can be in bullet form, but you want to put information in there that explains what you did that day. And then at the very bottom, I want you to give a little reflection, okay? So this is what I'm going to be looking for in terms of that. Make sure you are on top of this piece right here. What you worked for that particular week, but then again, the running total, all right? So make sure that you don't forget to add that back in, all right? So that you can keep a running total, because that helps me to remind you at certain things of what you need to do. Once you hit your 240 hours, you don't need to do any more logs. I will mark them as excused, and you don't have to worry about that, okay? Here's that KSA checklist, all right? So this is a file that I want you to print out, and you have an idea of kind of like, what you should be covering, all right? I don't expect every box to have a check mark on it, okay? But, we want to have some type of guideline of what you're going to be doing here, okay? So let's go back to our home page. So every week, as you can see, you're going to have your log details that are going to be due, all right? So to make it easy for yourself, just keep a record of that, all right? Now, when you hit week 4, your first interview is going to be due. So you can start working on that, and I just give you a little reminder if you're looking at the course here in Canvas, right? So I'll give you a little reminder. You might want to put that on your own schedule as well, and kind of in the first couple of weeks, figure out who it is that you would like to interview for your job. Now, these are written reports, so look at the instructions on the expectations for that as well. Again, give you another reminder about the checklist, and then when you hit 120 hours, which I estimated it to be at about week 6, right? That is why I placed it here. Then you will send this file here to your, well, actually, let's click on file here. This is the file right here. You're going to download this file, and you're going to send it to your supervisor, and your supervisor will complete that out, and then they will mail it to me. So you need to give them and communicate this with your supervisor that they are to complete this form, and then mail it to me, okay? And that's for the mid-eval, and the same process is going to be for the final eval. So we come on down, you can see this is fairly straightforward. And then we get down to the bottom, roughly about weeks 13 through 15. I kept these in here in case someone may need those logs at that week, you know, of depending upon how many hours that you're going to be working. Here's a reminder to turn in that signed KSA checklist. Here is the final eval link that has the assignment that has the link for the final evaluation, and then here is the report instructions. So just make sure that you click on these files and read the instructions. All right, so I try to be as clear as I can. I haven't had many issues in terms of students following instructions in the past, so I don't anticipate that you're going to have any issues. Okay, so that about gets everything that I wanted to talk about in this intro video here. So if you happen to have any questions, remember the Canvas inbox is going to be the best way to reach me. I wish you a very successful and fulfilling internship. All right. Thank you.